Well, there it is, Needles Lighthouse. And there's the full moon that's giving the tide. And here's the new boat. It's hopefully going to do the job. So precious moments these. Halfway between Needles and the fort. Lovely light. There's still a full moon. And Needles is lovely and clear. The weather is exactly as expected. And there's Hurst. Just waiting for the dawn to come and light her up. It's a bit different paddling this terrain around the island. It's like the Orient Express compared to the skin-on frame F1. It's got compartments for everything. I've got my food tucked away. I'm half expecting someone in a white suit to pop along and offer me a coffee. It's really very nice. Just pop up to Warden to have a look at how the tide's going, and there's a little bit more coming in than I expected, so it means the start time might be a bit earlier than we thought. That sort of thing every day. In some ways this is the best bit for me. It's about 2 hours in and I'm warmed up and I've got food and Needles. So there's a small stress piece got there, and we've got our teeth into the journey. St Catherine's is straight ahead and the sun's come up, and there's a sort of serenity to being out here, which I always forget amongst all of the organisation and busyness and all this blasted stuff you have to get together, which still seems like a lot to me. I'm sure if I did some expeditions proper it would all get simpler, but at the moment it just seems like an awful lot of fat. Anyway, out here, lovely clear day. There's a little bit of a bobble, which is lovely. The terrain's doing a brilliant job. but I'm hoping that St Catherine's out the way. That was very irregular. Actually had two slat supports straight after the other on different sides. It broke from the right and I sort of slapped into it, and then it was sort of gone and there was nothing on my left. So I ended up slapping like that, and it was like a double pistol shot, which is very funny, and I've never done that before. And you didn't really know where it was going to come from next, because it was quite sort of mixed up and irregular. Anyway, through the worst of it. This is just a nice little muddle up now, and still doing 8.5 miles an hour or so, which is putting me on the way. I'll put the gloves on again soon. I took them off for St Catherine's because I had a feeling I was going to need to grip this paddle and know exactly what I was doing. And I was right. It really doesn't get better than this. It's 11 miles an hour on the watch there, and the wavelength is just right, not too short. It's a little bit tricky to keep it regular, and I'm having trouble because I'm putting my knees in the braces. But apart from that, actually, on that note, Turan knee braces, absolutely brilliant. It's all very well flirting about, talking about knee together when I'm on the river, but during that tide break, I needed this boat to hug me like a long lost lover, and it really did. Absolutely brilliant. Whack the knees in, go into triangulation, flex the hips out, and it was the boat was just dancing along underneath. Smashing. Really good. Good job, good compromise. And as I say, probably can't see that watch, but 10.3 miles an hour. And that is very encouraging. Coming up to Bembridge ahead. Brittany ferry is going by, which is very nice to see. Bit of business going on perhaps. And then the ship's out in the anchorage. It's turned into a glassy calm, which is really good news. After a bit of bad luck last time, things have really slotted in, and with any luck, this wind, which is turning easterly, will just push me up this really difficult next bit. In my experience, the bit from Bembridge up to Cowes is quite hard, and the morale sort of dips a bit there because it seems to go so slowly, because it does go slowly, and then you pick up the real ripper from Cowes, and kind of once you know that ripper's waiting for you, then it makes you feel a bit more enthusiastic about the slow bit. Anyway, at the moment I am about half an hour off doing the south of the Isle of Wight in 4 hours, or a little bit more than the south, which is my aim, because if I could do this half in 4 hours, there's a chance I could do the top half in 4 hours, which would give me, well, certainly something in the 8-hour sector for the Isle of Wight. It'd be a big improvement on my last, what was it, 9 hours? No, 10 hours. 10 hours last time, 11 hours the time before, 9 hours to do the objective. But this boat This boat is easier to drive. The training has paid off. I'm, driving the boat with my thumb and the twist, and the knees are going. Lucasade's bouncing up and down between the legs. And that's not just the excitement. And well, so far so good. But about 3/4 of the way through, last time I got really sick, really tired, hit the wall like the marathon people do. So I'm not going to count any chickens until they've hatched. But everything's good and on target. I've just got to get to that headland you can see ahead. I've got to get there in 25 minutes. And speed's dropping off. It's now 6.5 miles an hour. Right, well, this is Ryde Pier and the Drudgery Pass Sea View, and this is the bit where it always gets a bit hard work, really, because I've done better than I expected. I've walked straight into slack water here, can't find any tide. I've come out, there's nothing, so I'm ticking along at 8 kilometers an hour or slightly less, and this is where the difference is made, because it's just slog here. And I'll be ahead of the tide at Cowes, possibly, which will mean I won't fully benefit from it, but I'm going to have to make it up with grunt, because if I want to make the best of this, then I've got to fill in where the tide is, and that means everything's hurting a bit. Right arm's not good, which just means I actually can keep my arms stiff and turn my trunk, so it's quite good at disciplining me to do that. Seat's lovely, tummy's feeling it, but it's in the good way, just like nice little knot of work going on down there. So it's only the left arm and wrist that's showing signs of actual hurt. So I think that'll last. I'm not bloody well giving up for that. I would like to report the theft of the moon, because there's absolutely no tide here, and I'm sure I'm either hallucinating or someone nicked it. Huh. Anyway, I've mixed Red Bull with Lucasade, and actually that's doing the job. There's I did actually steal something. This is confession time. I stole something from Ian Cook, and I brought jelly beans on this one, but I haven't needed them yet. I'm convinced that Ian doesn't train. I'm just convinced that he's got this secret recipe for jelly beans, and they're like sort of rocket fuel. Anyway, bit of a joke. Oh, it's the last push now, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the feeling, absolutely knackered, and doing just that little bit to do. It's good. Got the clothing right today. It was very cold this morning, but of course I knew it was going to be hot later, so it was all dressed for immersion stuff, really. So I've got 2 layers of base layer under this dry suit. The gloves are only to stop my hands blistering, because the wing paddle rips, and I've got tough hands. Greenland doesn't do anything to them, but there's something about, it's a very narrow shaft, maybe it's twisting a bit, I don't know. It's getting better, but I didn't want to suddenly end up with an open blister when I've put so much into today. So I've just used these, but I took them off going through the tide races so I could feel what I was doing, but for the rest of the time it's just a good safeguard. And that is a hell of a brew. Whoa. Anyway, Ian, sorry for buying jelly beans, and I think I'm probably going to have them with a cup of tea later, because this stuff just, look at it. I had Rice Krispies for breakfast because it's rice and it doesn't have any fibre, because I've got this theory, because I was so sick last time, or felt so sick last time, that I would avoid fibre. So I reckon Rice Krispies was the thing, because they're made with rice. And I've just existed on that. I've got sandwiches, I've got, it's crazy, there's stuff in here. It's fully loaded, but I don't want it. And I don't feel sick. And even if I'm a bit hungry, I don't want to feel sick. So I prefer to see if I can wing it on Red Bull and Lucozade and some very, very bad singing. I've been doing a lot of very bad singing. I am actually a musician, so I know how to sing in tune, but I love singing out of tune. It's brilliant. And so there's been some very bad singing and some, I mean, where is the tide? Just through. I mean, it's left me in a black hole. It's no good. I want free money. I want free speed. All this business of having to work. Oh no. That's the ferry coming out. Now I'm in trouble. Ugh. Last gasp here, and typical Solent, put up the afternoon breeze straight on the nose, but the tide is pushing it and it's helping. But I'm so tired now, I'm really running on fumes and my arms not very good. So as per usual, it's down to gritting the teeth, and that's the end of the action shots, I think, for the moment. Well, I finished and I'm at Allen Bay, and I'm about to break open the Gillet J beans and the peanut butter sandwich. I think I might have just squeezed in under 9 hours, which is what I wanted. 11 first time, 10 second, 9 this time. It would have definitely gone better, but for, well, it was definitely more than 3 straight on the nose, which made the Needles Channel quite interesting. It was very bobbly, and my tummy is tired, so it doesn't want to do all the little sort of flicky adjustments with the you know, when it's little mini haystacks and stuff. So it's quite hairy really, because my left arm, it hasn't got a brace left, and I think what's happened is I pulled the bicep and the arm under here and the wrist funny, shoulders taking some fun, and I think that double brace I did around St Catherine's, I think it was so hard, and I wasn't used to it, or whatever, I'm just getting old. It was a snappy brace and I was really pleased with it, because I was being flung over, absolutely. It would pick me up and it was going to slap me over. So it needed a really hard brace. That I think that pulled some muscles. So ever since Benbridge I've been like stiff arming it with this side and just using the rotation. So it's been a good learning process, but coming through St Catherine's, I didn't have a brace on this, and if I had to roll, I'm actually not sure. I think the adrenaline would take to punch it through, but I've got a very good sort of roll I've done since I was 13. So I can usually, you know, it's very reliable. Anyway, hairy, and absolutely exhausted now, and I couldn't really get out of the boat. It's so embarrassing. All these young kids looking at me rolling onto the sand, going up my nose and what have you. very undignified. Anyway, I'll be going back to Keyhaven tonight. It's nice to sit at Allen Bay here because I've got the opportunity to launch with a nice gentle shelve on the beach. So I'm going to wait for the tide to go and turn, so that will take me home. Anyway, that's the end.